Hello everyone. Today we are going to crochet a very exquisite hat. I made 2 zippers for the hat and the body of the hat. The bag on the top of the hat can hold a lot of small things,
such as lipstick, keys, etc.
Keys, etc. What about the bag of the hat body? It can be used to install mobile phones. It's no problem to install 2 mobile phones. For the top part, we use the circular needling method. The first circle is to loop up 6 short needles. Yes. A circle of crochet, we end the first stitch. Crochet a drawing needle. And then we crochet a needle, and then we start crocheting our second lap. Our second round is to add 1 stitch to each hole on the 6 stitches in the first round. After the second crochet, there are 12 stitches. We end the first shot. Crochet a drawing needle. By way of conclusion. Then crochet a rising needle. Next we start to crochet the third lap. In the third lap, we are
crochet with 1 stitch apart.
Crochet with 1 stitch in between.
The first hole crochets a short needle.
Add a needle to the second hole. There is a short needle in the third hole. Add a needle to the fourth hole.
In this way, we have the effect of adding 1 stitch after another. Third lap.
We crocheted it. It's all right. 18 needles. It's 18 stitches. We end the first shot. Crochet a drawing needle as the end, and then crochet a rising needle. Next, let's crochet the 4th stitch. The 4th stitch is based on 2 stitches and 1 stitch. The 5th circle is to add 1 stitch every 3 stitches, and the 6th circle is to add 1 stitch every 4 stitches. Our needling law is increasing to crochet. We didn't add the hook on the 4th lap until the 8th lap.
Until the 14th lap, we crochet to the 14th lap, and then we crochet a drawing needle.
Then crochet a rising needle. Cut the thread. Pull it out.
Then hide the thread. Find out 20 stitches and buckle them with marks.
And then we came. Position of wrapping mouth on one side. And then from this position, let's put the needle in. Crochet short needle.
We've been working on short needles.
We've always been. Crochet short needle. Well, I got it.
The position of the other side of the opening.
After we hook to another opening, what about us? Hook a needle. Cut the thread. Thread end pulling out. Pull it out and then we go back to the front opening. It's still going through the first stitch. Go in and crochet here. Again, bring the line in. Crochet short needle. To crochet a short needle or to crochet it, just
the mark on the last lap.
That position.
Again, hook to this position.
After crocheting to the mark button here, we crochet 20 braid needles.
-1,
-2, -18, -19, -20. After crocheting 20 braid stitches, we smooth the braid. And our first shot. To crochet a drawing needle. Then crochet a stand-up needle. Then we started to crochet our 17th lap.
Our 17th lap was not added.
An endless circle of short needles.
Hook to the position of this row of braid pins. Let's go. Pick only
the outer half of this row of braid needles.
Crochet. Short needle. We're on this row of braid pins. We'll just pick it. External half needle. Crochet 20 pieces. Short needle. After this row of braid stitches, we end our first stitch. Crochet a drawing needle.
Then crochet a needle to pull the thread out.
This bag. We've crocheted the top part of the hat to make our little ball hook. We are 1 braid needle. Then crochet
3
lock pin. Then wind the wire. Return to the first hole in a positive number. Put it in. Tick an unfinished medium long needle. Tick an unfinished medium long needle. And then through the hole. -2 unfinished medium long needles. -3 individual. And then we have a total of a crochet. -6 unfinished medium and long needles.
I'm here.
There are only 4 hooks. You can crochet them. 5 incomplete medium and long needles 6 times 7 times. It's all okay. We'll hook it up. -1 time pull. All the coils.
Then hook a needle.
Then cut the line. We have a long line here.
Well, there are 2 long lines.
And then from the top of this hat. This position. Pin in. These are all line segments. All of them. Go inside.
Well, I pull it inside and look outside. It's a small ball.
Next we start to crochet its base.
As for the base, we use the needle lock and needle lifting method. You can make a live knot and then get 16 braided needles.
-1,
-2, -3, -4, -5, -6, 15, 16.
16 braid pins.
After we get up, we go back to the penultimate stitch. This is the first stitch. This is the second stitch. It goes out from the center of the braid of the second stitch. Just pick up the outer half line segment. Then we hook the short needle. This is our first shot. Then we crochet 13 short needles in the middle.
There's only one last stitch left.
After 13 short stitches are hooked, we only have the last stitch left. We're in the last shot. Crochet 3 in the same hole. Short needle.
And then we went to
This. The other side of this row of pins. We're on the other side. The same crochet with 13 short needles in the middle. Dash 13. Then we came to the beginning of this needle. The beginning of this needle has been hooked a needle we put into this hole. Continue to crochet 2 short needles.
Then let's crochet our second lap.
A drawing needle.
Hook another needle. The base is on the hole.
Well, there.
In these pinholes in the 2 vertices. Add stitches to these stitches. We can use our mark buttons. Give him a hold on us. Left and right. This needle.
Left and right vertex.
Dash 3 needles each. We have 3 needles on each vertex. That's it. Take these 3 needles. Just mark it. The opposite is also 3 stitches.
Dash 12.
Dash 3.
We have 3 needles at each vertex.
We just need to add needles to the left and right vertices. Our next row only needs to be on the left and right vertices. To add needles to these needles, we'll follow the left and right vertices. How about more laps? Well, this one. The number of frames of vertices will also increase. Well, then we follow the rules. Just add a needle to the top. As for the middle part, we always have 3 short needles.
And then we
start crocheting our second lap. What about our second lap? Yes. The rule of adding needles in the vertex is as follows. According to: add a needle to each hole. Add 1 needle to each hole in the 3 needles of the vertex, and add 1 needle to each hole in the vertex of the other side. In the middle part, we crochet 13 short needles without adding or subtracting. Here we start, there is only 1 set. So we're here. The first hole.
An additional stitch for weaving a short stitch in the same hole.
The first stitch of the first group. This is us. On the second lap. The first stitch, so we use a different color. This is the mark. Mark it. Next, let's crochet the middle.
13 short needles without addition or reduction.
Dash 13 short pins are hooked, and we're at the top. Dash 3 needles in the apex. Inside. Add a needle to each hole. We're in the top 3.
Oh, here we are.
This vertex. There are 3 needles in it. Add a needle to each hole. In this way, we can change from 3 needles to 6 needles. Let's mark him. Now it's changed from 3 needles to 6 needles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then we continue to crochet 13 short needles without adding or subtracting.
Dash 13. There are 2 stitches left in the end. We'll add 1 to each of the last 2 stitches. We are now at the end of the day. Well, in the last 2 stitches, there are 4 stitches. In addition to the first 2 stitches, there are also 6 stitches.
Let's mark it with a marker. We'll hook it in the second lap.
We end the first shot. Crochet 1. Drawing needle. Then crochet a stand-up needle. Then we started to crochet our third lap. What is the needling rule of the first group in the third lap?
Dash 1 stitch in between.
1 hole, 1 short needle.
Add a needle to the second hole.
The first stitch of the first group is also the first stitch of our third lap. Let's mark it with a mark button.
Then we crocheted 13 short needles in our center. The 13 short needles in the middle are hooked, and then we come here. Vertex. Dash 6 needles. For the 6 stitches at the top, we should tick them according to the rule of adding 1 stitch every other. Check according to the rule of adding 1 needle every other.
Hook 3 times.
After this vertex is hooked, let's mark it with a tick.
Now our apex is from, well, 6 stitches in the second lap. Change to dash 9 needles in the third circle. Then we come to the crochet center. 13 short needles. We finally, the last one, dash 4 stitches inside. We are also in accordance with the rule of every needle plus 1 needle to tick. There are 2 groups of crochets.
After crocheting,
We end.
Our first needle is a drawing needle.
Our third lap. It's crocheted.
Hook another needle.
Then the fourth loop is crocheted. The 2 vertices of the fourth loop are divided into 13 short stitches with 1 stitch in the middle. Dash 2 vertices of the fifth circle. According to every 3 and 1. In the sixth circle, add 1 stitch every 4 stitches at the 2 vertices. The middle part is not added or subtracted. We hook 13 short needles. According to the rule, we hook until the 10th circle with 8 needles apart and 1 needle at the base. After we hook a drawing needle with our first needle. Then crochet a stand-up needle. Pull out the line. Now we need to find out the position of our bag opening. Is this position reserved for us? The position of the mouth is about 30 stitches. Our first shot started from. Start with this stitch of the mark button. We
just hook the outside half of it. Bring a wire in. Then
hook a needle. The same hole and then hook out a short needle. Let's take off the mark of the first stitch. Put it first. The one you just hooked up.
Braid needle above.
Then we continue to crochet. Each hole is crocheted with a short needle.
It's only half the needle.
It's all the way up.
Enough here. Where to start?
After the first loop is finished, we crochet a drawing needle with the first stitch. Dash 1 hook and then 1 more. Next we start to crochet the second loop. The first hook is good. Buckle it with a mark. In the second circle, we started it completely. This pigtail. Here's a row of short needles. As for the short needle, in the second circle, we hook it from here to the number of buttons here to reserve the bag opening. We don't hook it. What happens after we hook it into the mark button we hook here? We hook a needle. Cut it off. I'll cut it first. Then pull out.
Tighten.
After tightening, we go back to the other side.
Start from this side. Just started to put the needle in.
Yeah.
And then we start crocheting our third row.
What about our third row? Yes.
Our third row is also the first.
Well, no increase, no decrease. Hook it from here. Here. All right, this side. Now we need to count our positions. Yes, we did. We did 30. We left 30 stitches here.
How many stitches are left in the bag?
Well, the corresponding braid needle is about to start. How many stitches?
So now we're going to have 30 braids. -1.
-2. After 30 braid stitches, we took him. This braid must be smooth. Then draw it into the first needle of our third circle. Hook a needle.
Then we hook up a needle and we start to knit our fourth circle.
Our fourth loop is to crochet a row of short needles without any increase or decrease. We're going to go all the way to this row. On the row of braid needles that open the mouth, we are here. For every braid, we only choose its outer half. To crochet. Short needle. We hook the outer half of the stitch, and then we end the first stitch.
And the first shot.
Hook a needle.
Then hook a needle.
Our sidebar is hooked. Then we install the zipper at the mouth of the bag.
Well, there's no skill.
Bit by bit. Just seal it and sew it up. It's in our room. On the outer braid. Thread a needle. Sewn.
Then when we sew it to this side, what about this?
Well, it's the same at the beginning. Fixed several times. And then after sewing, our zipper. So you can open it. That's to make sure the zipper is open. Pull it out like this. If you close it, it will be smooth.
After the 3 pieces are hooked, we will start to assemble them.
And then around. We're sure that's right.
His hat.
At this position in front of it, let's fix it with 2 marks. Make sure he's in the right position and in the back. The center of gravity. Let's make sure. Now we're going to start stitching. We're going to sew it from this side. And then we'll come. The second stitch. That's what we do. Needle to needle stitching will do. After sewing, let's cut the thread. Cut the thread. Get an eye in it. Or we can get a crochet. Hook it to the back.
After sealing, we'll sew the base.
What about this base? Like him.
Better than.
It's better than we are. Give it a tick. Buckle it up.
After this fixation, we'll start stitching.
Because when it's sutured.
This is it.
As for the production outside, we only choose it.
Half needle.
Pay attention to his inner half. And then the one outside, we'll pick up the whole thing. That's how we do it. Deslothing. Also up this circle. That's it. After we put it away, we'll take this one. Put it on the chain.